On June 30th, 1945, Lieutenant M.A. Miller stood beside a destroyed Japanese tankette near Shuri. The tiny vehicle measured just 10 by 4 by 5 feet. A metal coffin, revealing Japan's crumbling war machine. In 1964, Pope Paul VI listened intently as Dr. Zakir Hussain, India's vice president, spoke across the divide of faith and culture. Their meeting symbolized hope, that understanding could bridge even the deepest differences. Soviet soldiers marched through Budapest's streets, their tanks crushing Hungarian dreams beneath steel treads. The city that dared to resist was now occupied, its revolution drowned in blood. Hungary learned Moscow's brutal lesson. Empires don't negotiate, they simply crush. In 1938, Shandong, Japanese soldiers gazed at piled skulls, some mounted on poles like grotesque trophies. The photograph captured evil's bureaucratic normalcy, men who committed atrocities and documented them without shame. In the 1890s, a tricycle emerged with pedals, rudimentary transmission, and lever steering, engineering's early, clumsy steps toward modern transportation. It looked fragile, almost comical, yet represented human ambition. Riders wobbled through streets on this mechanical curiosity. In 1900, Black American students stood proudly with their teacher before a humble schoolhouse. Education was their battleground for dignity in Jim Crow's brutal shadow. Against segregation and hatred, they gathered to learn, proving knowledge couldn't be denied. Their faces held determination. 15-year-old Lepa Radic stood before executioners, a Yugoslav resistance fighter captured by Nazis. They demanded names. She refused, protecting comrades with her final breath. Her courage outlived her short life. A child who chose death over betrayal, proving heroism has no age requirement. In May 1910, 9 European kings gathered for Edward VII's funeral, history's most powerful photograph. Royalty that ruled continents stood shoulder to shoulder. Within 4 years, their empires would slaughter millions in World War I. In October 1944, a Soviet self-propelled artillery crew pushed through Hungary, their massive gun aimed at fascism's crumbling defenses. These men had fought from Stalingrad westward. Exhaustion and determination etched their faces. Liberation and vengeance. In 1862, Abraham Lincoln towered over General McClellan at Antietam, the president visiting his too cautious commander. The bloodiest day in American history had just passed. Frustration simmered beneath presidential composure. This meeting symbolized tension between political will and military hesitation. In 1962, Ursula Andress and Sean Connery played in Jamaica's river between filming Dr. No. Her white bikini had already become cinema's most iconic costume. Off-camera, they splashed like children. Bond's suave facade dissolved. That film birthed a legend, 007's first adventure. In 1931, the Marx Brothers served cocktails at London's Savoy Hotel, chaos barely contained in tuxedos. Groucho smirked. Harpo grinned silently. Chico charmed everyone. Even serving drinks, they transformed formality into absurdist theater. British elegance collided with American anarchic comedy. In 1925, women wore elaborate spider costumes at St. Louis's fashion pageant, their bodies transformed into 8-legged creatures of silk and imagination. The Jazz Age embraced the bizarre and beautiful. They posed like predators caught mid-web. In 1937, police displayed the Black Legion's sinister uniforms after dismantling the white supremacist terror group. Black robes and skull emblems revealed hatred dressed as ritual. For over a decade, they murdered and terrorized in the Midwest. The uniforms hung empty now. Between 1970 and 1973, Houston's Dean Cole, known as the Candyman, kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and murdered at least 28 boys and young men with 2 teen accomplices before being shot and killed by one of them. A monstrous reign of terror that shocked America's conscience. In the late 1890s, an integrated group of friends posed together, the woman on the left clearly amused. Their friendship defied an era obsessed with separation. They smiled across racial lines that society violently enforced elsewhere. In 1899, 2 pals posed for a cyanotype, their friendship preserved in deep Prussian blue. The early photographic process turned ordinary moments into art. They leaned together naturally, comfortable and connected. That blue tint gave their bond. What's your favorite Vincent Price movie? Major Richard Winters led Easy Company through hell with quiet courage that inspired legends. Band of Brothers immortalized his World War II leadership during the bloodiest battles. He never sought glory, only did his duty with honor, humble, selfless, and forever remembered by the men he saved. In 1900, banker J.P. Morgan erupted in fury when a photographer captured his rhino femur without retouching. The most powerful financier in America demanded control over his image, but reality had been recorded. His diseased, bulbous nose. Japanese troops stood with caged courier pigeons, ancient communication technology serving modern warfare. These fragile birds carried messages across battlefields where radios failed and runners died. Wings became weapons, loyalty bred into feathers. She shattered glass cockpits and societal expectations, becoming India's first female commercial pilot. In a world that told women to stay grounded, she soared above clouds and prejudice. Her hands mastered controls that tradition said belonged only to men. In the 1880s, actress Isabelle Urquhart posed as a witch before Falk's gloomy midnight backdrop in New York. Draped in dark costume, she embodied occult mystique and theatrical drama. Victorian audiences both feared and desired such women, sorceresses who refused submission, witches who wielded power. Vintage Halloween costumes were nightmares made real, crude masks with hollow eyes, tattered fabric hiding faceless terrors. These weren't playful disguises, but genuine attempts to embody darkness. Old photographs preserved their unsettling strangeness. Austro-Hungarian soldiers trained with a 3.7 cm M115 infantry gun behind the front lines, preparing for battles that would consume their empire. They drilled meticulously, unaware their nation was dying with each shell fired. These men practiced warfare for a world. In November 1961, Richard Nixon stood on his Los Angeles roof, watering wood as the Brentwood Bell Air fire raged nearby. Flames consumed hillsides, while the future president fought to save his home. Even power has limits against nature's fury. He stood alone, wielding a garden hose like defiance, one man against an inferno's relentless advance. In the 1920s, a British man dressed as an American cowboy, the Wild West reimagined across the Atlantic. He wore boots, hat, and holster. 20th century showgirls dazzled stages with feathers, sequins, and untouchable beauty. They were living art, bodies transformed into spectacle, smiles perfected through pain. Beneath glamour lived grueling rehearsals, objectification, and deferred dreams. In 1944, Cary Grant and Priscilla Lane starred in Arsenic and Old Lace, turning murder into screwball comedy gold. Grant's manic energy collided with Lane's sweetness as corpses piled up hilariously. The film proved dark humor could charm audiences. In October 1914, at Ypres, men from Oxford and Buckinghamshire, light infantry pressed against earth as German shrapnel screamed overhead. Photographer Christopher Pilkington captured their raw terror, faces tight with fear, bodies coiled, waiting for death or reprieve. Patrice Lumumba believed Congo could be free from colonial chains. His vision threatened empires. So they murdered him, tortured, executed, dissolved in acid, erased for daring to imagine African liberation. Decades later, the world still owes him justice. His death proved some dreams are so dangerous. A British soldier proudly displayed captured Pickelhaube helmets. Germans spiked trophies of victory. Each helmet represented an enemy defeated, perhaps killed. War transformed men into collectors of death's souvenirs. He grinned, hands full of Kaiser's pride. Now, in 1936 Berlin, young Jewish members of B'Tah stood defiant, their Zionist youth movement organizing beneath Nazi hatred's shadow. They wore uniforms proudly, training for a homeland that didn't yet exist. Hitler's noose tightened daily. In the 1890s, a little girl posed solemnly for the camera, her image captured on fragile glass. Negative. Childhood then was formal, serious. Joy reserved for moments away from the photographer's lens. She stood perfectly still, her future unknowable. In the late 1890s, two friends lay in grass, laughing together as the camera captured their joy on glass negative. Their happiness was genuine, unposed, a rare glimpse of authentic connection before cameras became commonplace. That fragile glass preserved what mattered most: pure friendship, simple laughter. In 1945, on Iwo Jima, a U.S. Marine smiled while reading mail in his muddy foxhole. Amid volcanic ash and constant bombardment, a letter from home became salvation. For brief moments, war disappeared, replaced by familiar handwriting. In August 1939, Italian bersaglieri crossed a pontoon bridge over the Po River on motorbikes during military maneuvers. Engines roared across floating planks as soldiers practiced modern warfare tactics. Europe stood on the precipice of catastrophe, and these drills would soon transform from. Backstage at Hullabaloo in 1965, Keith Richards playfully trimmed Charlie Watts' hair, capturing a rare moment of brotherly camaraderie between Rolling Stones bandmates. Away from screaming fans and stage lights, two rock legends shared simple laughter. On November 27, 1944, women Air Force service pilots posed before a North American AT-6 Texan at Waco Army Airfield, Texas. These brave wasps ferried aircraft, towed targets, and tested planes, freeing men for combat. In June 1984, an aerial photograph captured Lower Manhattan during construction of Cesar Pelle's World Financial Center rising from landfill. Cranes towered over evolving skylines, steel beams reached upward, and the city reinvented itself once again. During World War II, black soldiers fought with extraordinary valiance on battlefields worldwide while facing racism at home and abroad. They stormed beaches, flew missions, and served with honor despite segregation's cruelty. Their courage challenged injustice. Between 1890 and 1899, Men from Finland's 7th Hämeenlinna Sharpshooters Battalion stood in military formation, representing the army of the Grand Duchy of Finland. Their disciplined stance reflected national pride under Russian rule. In 1959, HSWMS Drottning Victoria met her end in Karlskrona, Sweden, as workers dismantled the once proud warship. Steel that sailed through storms and conflicts was reduced to scrap metal. The vessel's quiet death marked time's relentless march. In 1946, Beijing, a soldier stood guard atop Tiananmen Gate, photographed by Dmitry Kessel for Life magazine. Ancient stone met modern turmoil as China teetered between war and uncertain peace. His solitary figure watched over a city caught around the early 1900s in Michigan. A lively crowd gathered on a dirt street, gazing upward at a trapeze artist suspended impossibly high. Gasps and wonder rippled through spectators as the daring performer defied gravity and death. For one breathless moment, on the set of Mildred Pierce in 1945, Joan Crawford and Anne Blythe prepared for their powerful mother-daughter drama. Behind Warner Brothers cameras, two actresses embodied sacrifice, ambition, and betrayal. Their performances would capture post-war American womanhood's complexities. In 1951, Korea, a great uncle, stood amid a brutal, freezing war that the world tried to forget. Mountains, cold, and enemy fire defined his days. He carried rifle and fear equally, surviving battles that would haunt him on a distant, unforgiving peninsula. In 1946, Dusty Anderson embodied post-war Hollywood glamour with her striking beauty and confident presence. Studio lights captured her radiant smile and elegant poise. She represented an era when, in 1977, Trichur, Kerala, teachers, and nuns led a powerful protest march through the streets. Their voices united in defiance against injustice, challenging systems that silenced the marginalized. Women of faith and education became warriors of change. In the 1940s, two young people fell deeply in love before marriage. War and wedding irrevocably changed them. Their photographs captured stolen moments of tenderness before conflict separated hearts across oceans. They survived distance and uncertainty. In December 1952, the Great Smog choked London for 5 brutal days. Thick, toxic fog swallowed streets, suffocated lungs, and killed thousands. Visibility vanished as coal smoke and weather conspired into deadly poison. The city gasped helplessly, while pollution's invisible violence revealed industrial progress's darkest cost. Had Franklin D. Roosevelt lived beyond World War II, the Cold War's trajectory might have shifted, but its occurrence seemed largely inevitable. Ideological divides between Soviet communism and Western capitalism ran too deep. In 1983, Leicestershire, 17-year-old Bryn Owen transformed his Vespa into a dazzling spectacle with 34 mirrors and 81 lights. Youth, creativity, and rebellion merged into rolling art. His scooter became a mobile disco ball. In 1991, the majestic SS Michelangelo met her end on Gadani's beach in Pakistan. Workers dismantled the once luxurious Italian ocean liner piece by piece, her glory reduced to scrap metal. The grand ship that crossed Atlantic waves with elegance. Around 1964 in London, Judy Garland and husband Mark Herron visited the infamous Kray twins, East End gangsters whose legend matched Hollywood glamour. Celebrity and criminality collided in surreal encounter. Stardom met underworld violence in a photograph that captured London's contradictions, where entertainment royalty mingled casually with men. On October 29, 1964, Murph the Surf and his audacious gang stole the legendary Star of India sapphire from New York's American Museum of Natural History. The brazen heist captivated America, blending criminal daring with Hollywood-style glamour. In the 1970s, ZZ Top's Dusty Hill and Billy Gibbons commanded the stage with raw Texas blues power. Their synchronized beards, sunglasses, and guitars became iconic symbols of rock rebellion. Electric riffs thundered through arenas as two musicians transformed Southern boogie in. Between 1947 and 1948, young Nichelle Nichols danced in the College Inn Story Show, her career's humble beginning. Grace and ambition radiated from every movement as she performed on stage. Decades before becoming Star Trek's groundbreaking Lieutenant Uhura, in 1915, Mary Pickford starred in the silent film Fanchon the Cricket, captivating audiences with expressive eyes and graceful movement. Without words, she conveyed complete emotional worlds through gesture and presence. America's Sweetheart commanded the screen. During Sherman's March, bummers from the 121st Ohio foraged through Georgia, photographed in Sandersville. These soldiers stripped the southern countryside, seizing supplies and spreading Union power through destruction. They embodied total war's harsh reality. 150 years ago, Queen Marie of Romania was born into a destiny of crowns and conflicts. She would become a powerful diplomat, beloved monarch, and symbol of resilience during World War I. In 1998, Carla Faye Tucker arrived at the Texas Death House in Huntsville for execution. She had murdered a couple with a pickaxe in brutal violence. Her case drew global attention as only the second woman executed in America since the 1970s. Had all Japanese officials and military figures responsible for wartime atrocities been tried after World War II, regional reconciliation might have been more genuine and complete. Instead, Cold War priorities led America to shield many perpetrators. On June 22, 1887, Stephen Pierre's final photograph captured him at Niagara Falls before attempting an unplanned nighttime tightrope crossing. 3 days later, his body was discovered beneath his cables near the Niagara River Gorge. The 17th New York Veteran Zouaves stood in Sandersville, Georgia, their distinctive uniforms marking them as elite fighters during the Civil War. These battle-hardened soldiers moved through conquered Confederate territory with disciplined precision. Miles from home, they represented Union power pushing deep into the South's heart. In 1968, Bobby Kennedy was shot in a Los Angeles hotel after winning California's Democratic primary. Hope died with him that night as bullets shattered America's dreams once again. The nation watched another Kennedy fall, assassinated at the height of promise. In 1880, Baku, the Nobel brothers and their engineers built an oil empire through the Brothers Nobel Company, founded in 1879. They produced 20% of Tsarist Russia's oil and refined 49% of its kerosene. In 1946, Hollywood actress Patricia Alphin embodied post-war glamour with radiant beauty and captivating screen presence. Studio photographers captured her elegance during cinema's golden age. She represented dreams manufactured in California, where Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, lived a turbulent life marked by extraordinary talent and profound tragedy. Her voice transformed jazz forever, carrying raw emotion that revealed both ecstasy and pain. Racism, addiction, abusive relationships. At a 1961 press party, Harpo Marx, Jane Mansfield, Frank Sinatra, and Red Skelton gathered together, embodying Hollywood's golden era glamour. Comedians, crooners, and bombshells mingled under flashbulbs, their smiles freezing a moment when entertainment royalty ruled. In 1945, Tulsa Hill, London, gunner Hector Murdoch arrived at his new prefabricated house, greeted joyfully by his wife and son. War had ended and homecoming began. The modest structure represented Britain's promise to rebuild lives and families. In 1937, the Nanjing Massacre unfolded as Japanese forces unleashed unspeakable horror upon China's capital. For 6 weeks, soldiers murdered, raped, and brutalized hundreds of thousands of civilians. The city drowned in blood and ashes. The Battle of Champagne saw French forces hurl themselves repeatedly against German lines in brutal trench warfare. Thousands died in muddy fields for yards of scorched earth. Artillery thundered endlessly as men climbed from trenches into machine gun fire. On October 29, 1925, teenage girls posed beside a horse, their faces bright with youthful confidence. The photograph captured friendship, rural life, and simple joy before modern complexities arrived. They stood together in an era of innocence and transition. In 1931, baseball star Gabby Hartnett signed a ball for Al Capone's son, a surreal moment where America's pastime met organized crime. The child smiled innocently, while his father's violent empire cast long shadows. Two worlds collided briefly, athletic heroism and gangster infamy, in a photograph that captured Prohibition-era Chicago's strange, dangerous contradictions.